Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is making international headlines and also triggering the right wing because he saw the Barbie movie with his son. What is going on? So I'm going to show you some of these headlines. I'm going to show you some of the reaction and maybe try and, I don't know, diagnose what is happening here. What's wrong with people's brains? Why do they care? Why are they so bothered by this? But here is what set the world on fire. Trudeau here with this post on Twitter. It's also on Instagram saying, "We're Team Barbie." And here he is dressed in pink watching Barbie at the theaters with his son. If I saw this randomly scrolling through Twitter and I didn't see the reactions first, I would have thought nothing of this. At the very most, I maybe would have thought, oh, look, he's trying to, capture the or trying to capitalize on this cultural moment with the movie Barbie and trying to be like, hey, I like Barbie too, and that's popular, I'm popular. Like, just at the very most, that's what this is trying to do. Be like, hey, look, I'm being a good dad and I'm seeing Barbie. That's the extent of it. At the very most, I really just think it's a largely innocuous post. He saw Barbie with his son. He wanted to show, hey, I'm out doing family stuff. Whatever. But no, no, nothing is sacred in the world of politics and lunatics. So Fox News with their headline here: Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Barbie post divides Twitter. Look, the only way you could argue it divides Twitter is that at least half the people on there are out of their goddamn minds, which I think you could make an argument for. But I also think a lot of people were not reacting to this because they realized this was nothing. Even people on the right, I didn't see any real reaction from some of the usual individuals. But still, whatever. Okay, it divides Twitter. This is hilarious, though, because the headline here, messed up. It makes it sound like his Barbie post is messed up. But you go down and understanding a lot of people, especially people on the right, I'm just going to say it, get their information strictly from the headlines and maybe don't read too far down. But if you go and read a little further down, the messed up is in reference to someone saying that the reaction to this, the negative reaction to this, is messed up because there's nothing here. But even the first paragraph is hilarious. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau went to the movies over the weekend, declared that he was Team Barbie in a Sunday Twitter post that has proved to be highly controversial. But it's not. You could say there's an overreaction to it, but the post itself is clearly not controversial. It's people losing their minds over nothing, and largely in a way, I think, for many of them to generate clicks, because these people understand they operate in a world where their followers are not well. So they farm clicks out of rage baiting over nothing. But so that's the headline, the Fox News piece. India Today covered this for some reason. Trudeau and his son twin in pink as they step out to watch Barbie together. I'm not really sure why India Today is covering this. Breitbart, this is, to their credit, a little creative. Canadian Barbie, newly separated Justin Trudeau goes full pink. People covered this as well for some reason. Trudeau and son Xavier, twin in pink, to watch Barbie movie together. We're Team Barbie. Look, I get doing a story on the reaction to nothing, which is what I'm doing right now. But I really don't get a story on on doing a story on just the post itself, as People is doing here. People isn't talking about the reaction to it. They're just talking about, hey, he saw Barbie. Like, why? Why does that make any headline? The only headline here is that people lost their shit over nothing. But let's get to some of that. So Charlie Kirk on Twitter here writes, I still find it baffling that Justin Trudeau's wife would leave him. I don't know what this means. Him seeing a movie with his son, him being a dad, is why his wife left him? Which, by the way, we don't even know if they're separated. So who knows? We don't know the actual details there. But it's just Charlie Kirk is one of the clear actors, right-wing actors in all of this. Everything he does, it does not come off, to me anyways, as genuine. He tries to make himself believe this bullshit, but Charlie Kirk knows better. I've seen him in debates. He can prepare and be well-read in his propaganda when he wants to be. He knows better than this. He knows this is nothing, but he also knows who his followers are. Piers Morgan, this one is maybe the dumbest out of all of them. I'll show you why in a second. Piers Morgan, of course, a conservative Brit, tweeting out here, "So glad I'm not Canadian." Piers Morgan's reaction alone made headlines in Canada. Like the Toronto Star covered this. But again, Piers Morgan, British, which is worth mentioning here because the Prime Minister of the UK, Rishi Sunak, also saw Barbie. So glad I'm not British? Again, Piers Morgan, as I said in past videos, even when I covered him recently, or a clip of his show recently, when he had on that anti-feminist, what's her name, Pearl, that crazy crazy person, and even in that interview where he does a good job exposing her BS, I go on to explain how Piers Morgan is not a journalist. He is an entertainer first, so he knows where his bread is buttered. He knows he largely what he does is appeal to conservatives. He's doing that again here. Like, why does it matter? Why are you so deeply affected by him seeing the Barbie movie? Of course he's not. This is all a play to what his viewership largely is. Andrew Tate here, of course, could not pass up the opportunity, saying, "I have never seen Western world leaders speak about going to the movies before." Well, I'm sure they have, but okay. Going on, he says, this is where it gets good. "However, the Satanists demand that you publicly sacrifice any remnant of masculinity to the homosexual mafia. The overlords want your soul. They also want to tell you the world. They also want you to tell the world that they own you." And then posting the picture of Trudeau and Rishi Sunak seeing Barbie. I'm not sure how you got all of this from seeing the Barbie movie, what is going to be possibly the highest grossing film of the year. Yes, many people saw Barbie. I don't understand what the Satanists have to do with this, but there you go. Keem here saying Canada must be falling apart like America at the moment. Again, another person who's playing to his followers. I don't know how you get a comment like that from this image. Ashley Simon here. And by the way, I'm only quote tweeting people that have somewhat of a following. If I were to quote tweet or were to show you reactions from random people, we'd be here for 8 or 9 hours. So I'm just keeping it to some of the more prominent figures. But Ashley Simon here saying, I wonder why his wife left him. Again, I don't know what this means. Eric Spracklin here saying, this is Justin Trudeau literally days after his wife left him. I knew he was going to come out, but I didn't think it would be instantaneous. So is this because he's wearing pink? Is this because you didn't realize this is his son? I think most of these are just playing to their followers, but anyone falling into any of this, God help you. Andy Lee here saying, nothing screams this is a serious country quite like having a world leader wearing a pink hoodie while watching a Barbie movie. Can he please take his midlife crisis somewhere else and stop subjecting us all to this suffering? On this point, you could just block him. You get that, right? If this really deeply affects you, which I don't believe it does, I think you're all a bunch of actors, but if this deeply, deeply affects you, you could just block him. But again, you're playing to your followers, and this is why you react the way you do. Neil before Zod with some analysis here, saying, one of the all-time great Canadian political troll jobs, Trudeau sure knows his haters, majority of whom are incredibly insecure about their sexuality. Well played, Mr. Prime Minister. I gotta say, I don't think he thought this far ahead. I really think at the very most, this could have just been a random innocuous tweet, but at the most, it's him trying to play into the Barbie popularity while also showcasing that, he's a family guy. That's the extent of this. I don't think he was really anticipating. Even Trudeau, who understands the reactions he gets. Even Trudeau, I don't think was anticipating just the level of reaction he got to that post. So I don't think this was intentional. But if it was, a way to bring out, to showcase how crazy all these people are, then yeah, I guess he did a good job doing that. Elad Nehore, apologies for the pronunciation, saying here, the blue check response to this tweet of Trudeau going to Barbie with his son are a perfect example of how people pay to be bigots on this platform. Once upon a time, such bigotry was pushed to the bottom of the replies or removed. Now you can pay to put it at the top. This is a great analysis or a great commentary around how Twitter operates, because this is, in the past, this may have gotten some reaction from some people, and then rational voices would have drowned them out, and it wouldn't have been much of a story. But because the way Twitter now operates, where you can pay $8 a month to have a blue check, and that blue check means that your posts are also promoted to the top of the replies, and also get more play when it comes to trending topics, that leads to very skewed responses, very skewed trending. In terms of what is trending, it's very skewed because of the people that are paying that money to have that check are people that, in the majority of cases, are complete idiots. Let's just be clear about it. Complete morons. So it is changing the conversation a lot in what happens on Twitter, which is part of the reason why I am not on Twitter very often anymore, despite all the tabs you see here. But just for this story, because it's very tough to have a real conversation on Twitter. Unless you just stick strictly to your followers, ignore what's being pushed into your feed. It's very tough to have any real conversations there. Last thing, Rachel Gilmore here tweeting out, I want you all to know that this is what this is what men who are insecure in their masculinity look like. And pointing to all these clowns like Piers Morgan, Kirk, and Keem. But yeah, it's a combination of that, and also a combination of just a bunch of grifters playing to their bases. And, I guess you could also say their followers are insecure in their masculinity to be so disturbed by men in pink watching Barbie. It really says something about you.